My name is Despina Trivolis. I come from Athens, where I'm a journalist and an editor. And I have been working as a journalist for 15 years. And I am part of this year's We Are Europe team. As a journalist, I worked for a lot of years doing stories on I especially like stories on other people, just like learning about them, interviewing them. I really enjoy talking to people and learning on them, especially if they're underrepresented. I'm interested in doing stories in particular ways. I'm also an editor now, so that means I commission and edit other people's stories. And the sort of stuff I'm interested in hearing are the sort of stuff that everyone talks about, but nobody has written about yet, or nobody has videoed about yet. I think at the moment, one story that, it's just begun to be discussed in Europe is the green movement and climate change. In Greece, that is literally something that has just started now. But there is a young generation of people that are willing to do things for climate change. They're willing to demonstrate. There isn't even a Green Party in Greece yet, but that is a subject that I can see a lot of young people are interested in. And the same goes with a lot of activist movements like the vegan movement, for example. These are stories that are just coming out in Greece. I know they're global, let's say, at the moment, but I think the younger generation engages with a lot of things that, let's say, 10 years ago were irrelevant or nobody talked about them. Another thing that I think people are very interested in just now is gender fluidity. People and the whole kind of sexuality is not considered to be rigid, and that's a thing that young people are very interested in. And when I speak about young people, I mean, 17 to 25. I don't mean 25 to 40. And it's definitely a generation that is very activist and seeks a lot of justice. I was quite surprised by that, actually. Like, this younger generation of people are very, they have rights, they have causes that they fight for. And I think, within the last 30 years, that goes in waves. There are more quiet generations, more placid generations, but I think this generation is a generation that was born and bred in a financial crisis, a lot of changes in the world, there's climate change, and they're very willing to go out there and do stuff to change the world. And that was not the case, I think, when I was growing up 10 years ago. I think that obviously there are a lot of different cultures and different social different national identities within Europe, but I do think that certain things are at the bedrock of our culture, and I think that the more the years pass, the more a common European identity is formed, which for me is about inclusiveness, social rights, a social welfare state. I think that is also really important, and also just like a sort of humanitarian approach to life. I think that is at the core of Europe, those shared kind of ideals that are important for people. It's important to give a voice to young people. Again, when I say young, I mean 17 to 25-year-olds, because this is a generation that takes nothing for granted, and they want to see change, and they want to see something different. So I think these are the people we should be listening to right now.